Alrighty, ladies and gentlemen, hopefully you guys can hear me. Obviously, we're going to keep on improving this, but hopefully you guys can see the Mega Constructs Pokemon, the Riolu Evolution set. This thing has 131 pieces, so hopefully should take about less than an hour or so. But for the moment, we're going to do this as a trial, see how it goes, and hopefully you guys do enjoy this. If you guys enjoy the video, I would appreciate it if you guys hit the like button, subscribe. But without further ado, let's get started. Right, so we're gonna use an X-Acto knife. We're gonna cut the edges. So pretty excited about this one. Lucario is my favorite Pokemon out of all of them. So we'll see how this thing goes. But I kind of saw like a preview of him. Not necessarily my favorite. We're gonna open it from the sides. Because for some reason it doesn't want to open. But these are literally the first ones to see this. And bingo, bingo, baby. Comes with 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. So 5 bags. Pretty cool. This is just the inside, so for the moment I'm gonna throw this away. Again, you'll see the review better. So for the moment, here you go. These are the things that you can practically do. Just a glimpse of how many pieces. So for Riolu, we're only going to need 1 and 2. Again, they're all labeled, so pretty awesome. For the moment, we'll put these away. And these 5 is here, so put that away. We got 1. And this is 4, so I'll put it over here. And then we got 2. So we're just gonna follow the instructions here, and like I said, we're gonna open with 1 and 2. I would definitely recommend to, in a sense, break them apart and open them and just set them aside. For the moment, we're gonna just do 1 and 2 for Riolu. So I'll be right back. All right. So first of all, we're gonna start off with the one that has little bunny ears in a sense, and again, apologize if this doesn't go well, but next up we're also going to get the one that's kind of like bunny ears but also like the little plastic flimsy thing, and we're going to get the face. So as you guys see, we're going to put it down like this, hold it like that. Doesn't really matter which way you do this one, but as long as you just put it in there, and then from there we're just going to put the face, which seems like it's going to have to be the top. So you'll see that the head comes top or bottom, but for this one we're just going to use the top one. So you should have an open space like this. All right, I love this rubbery part here. Obviously, hopefully you guys can see this pretty good. Next up, we're going to get these 2 pieces over here for 2. This one is like a little dome shape. You'll see that it has 4 openings. And then we'll use this thing that's kind of like a smiley face is how I like to call them. You'll see that there's a big opening from right there. So what we're going to do for the moment is we're going to open this. Like, doesn't matter which way you do this, just as long as you just connect these 2 dots into this. Doesn't matter which way, just as long as you connect these 2 dots into basically these. That makes sense. So just plug it in. You'll see that these holes are gonna fit in there. Just basically find the way in there. Then next up, we're gonna get the face, and then these 2 we're just gonna connect from the back. If that makes sense. So again, grab this, hold it up like this. This empty spot should be facing up, and then you just connect them, and bam, baby. you go. There should be some opening here, so don't freak out if you see any of this. So it should basically look like this. And then next up, we're gonna get this one that has 5 knobs, I guess, and then one of these. So you'll have both of these, but you want to use the one that does not have the peg. So we're just gonna use this one. We're gonna put this forward as this thing says. And again, sometimes just try to copy what the picture says, but in case if you do need help, make sure the spikes are pointing outwards and away from the middle one. And then that's where we're gonna have this part. So now we got 2 parts. We're gonna flip it over. And now we're gonna get the one that does have the peg, and we're gonna connect it on the other side. So just make sure to flip the one that we previously just did, and then have the peg click away from this other knob. And there we go so far. Next up, I believe we're gonna use the legs. So you're gonna get these 2, I guess feet in a sense. They have a yellow circle, as you can see. We're gonna need 2 of them. We're gonna use these 2 that are practically the feet. As you see that they have claws. Use those, and then we're gonna use these 2 that basically kind of claws in a sense. These don't have the pegs, so like the giant knobs, they just have pegs. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna get the legs, the feet. Now for these, to make it more accurate, make sure the circle is facing away, so I guess the back heel instead of the front. So you want the front where the claws are not to have the circle. You want it to be in the back. And from there, we're just gonna plug this in, and boom. Now you could move it, so it doesn't matter which way you do that one. Again, we gotta do another one. So same thing, have the claws facing forward, have the circle face the back of the leg, push it in. And again, if you do it by accident, don't worry. I actually had to bite mine, so just try to do that. Try not to break it though. But here we got 2 of the feet. Pretty awesome so far. So this is what we got so far. Oop, keep the X-Acto knife away. Just be careful with those. And now what we're gonna do is have the side that has the peg facing forward, and this is where we're gonna connect our legs. So again, try to have this where you can basically peg it like that. Again, doesn't matter. You can obviously switch it later on, or I guess you can still move it. Just make sure this thing's facing forward. And there we go. We got basically legs. Oh, plugging it in there. Hopefully this is making sense. Again, I will keep on improving on this, so make this better for you guys. So far we got the legs and the body. We got the head. All we need to do is just build the head. So this is where this little rubbery thing appears. We're gonna put it on this knob. That's right there. Again, just push it in. And then this is where we're gonna put in the head. So again, just plug it in through here. Bingo, bango. Dude, this is actually turning out pretty freaking awesome, to be honest. Head can rotate, so that's cool. But now we're gonna go build the arms. So for this one, we're gonna need, again, these little shapes that have circles on them, the white circles. We're gonna need 2 of those. And then we're gonna need these 2 that are potentially gonna be the arms. So same thing as last time, but these have knobs on them. And what we're gonna do for these is, again, doesn't matter which way, just make sure you connect them inside, just like that. Like that. And these are the arms. Just connect them however you want, because again, these are rotatable, I believe so. And in this one, doesn't really matter too much where the circle is, but from the picture here, it does show that these circles are going to be facing up in a sense. So however you choose it. And there's so far what we got for Riolu. Now we're gonna build the tail. So for this one, we're gonna need one of these double pegs, I guess. It's like, it doesn't matter which end you use because it's the same thing. Use one of those. We're gonna use this bent shape piece over here. Kind of, you know, turning into like a crooked tube, I guess. And then at this point, we're gonna use one of the hands. Kind of like a wrench or a Y, if you put it that way. And then finally, we're gonna use this that looks like a claw. But I guess we're gonna use this for the end of the tail, possibly. You should have 2 pieces left. I'm assuming these are just gonna be spares. I don't know why these 2 would be it. But regardless, to understand this figure here, we're gonna get the one that has the double sided, get the messed up bent tube, plug that in, and then we're gonna include the Y-shaped or the wrench, plug it into the other side, and then we're gonna include the tooth and make sure the claw / tooth is facing down. So it should look something like this, kind of like a bent hammer as well, if you can look at it like that. And we're gonna plug this into the back. And at this point, just however you want, and boom, we got a little Riolu here. So again, this is how it should look like, and hopefully we've been doing this pretty good. If not, again, I do apologize. I could zoom it in like this. Oh, excuse me. I could zoom it in like this if that helps. You know what? I'm gonna try that out for Lucario actually. But bingo bango. Alright, so I just separated them. Again, if you want to kind of see how I like to do them, I just separate them just like that, have everything ready to go. Again, we're pretty lucky that these are numbered, you know, 5 and all that, so it's telling us exactly what we need, so which is pretty freaking awesome, right? But not all of them have that. I know I did some for Charizard and like the Pikachu sets, and those were not numbered. But just to keep a heads up on that, just this is what I like to do. Okay, of course, you don't have to do this. You can just open them, but let's get started. So again, we're going to be building Lucario, my favorite Pokemon. So first things first, we're going to grab Lucario's face. And then we're going to get this one again. The one that looks kind of like a smiley face is one way that I like to call it. And with this one, what we want to do is we want to flip it to where the opening spot is facing down, and we're going to connect this to the bottom side of Lucario. So don't do it on the top, do it at the bottom. And this is how it should look like for the moment. I'm going to put this aside. Now what we need is both of the ears. So it should be both of these. They got a little peg in the front. And then we also need this tube that's, you know, mostly gray, but also has a little bit of blue. And has 2 holes in the middle, if that makes sense. And then we're going to grab what look like the little jackal things that are going to stand up. And basically, for this one, we're going to use this part where the blue is facing down. And this is where we're just going to inject the jackal ears into this. Again, this should be like rubbery. Just make sure to put them in there. Boom. Again, you can move these, so it's pretty freaking dope. So now we're going to connect it to the face. So now we're going to flip it over to where the openings are in this way. We're going to leave it like that. And then this is where we're going to have to use these pegs and put them on top of the holes over here. So again, just make sure these are facing backwards and plug it in to those holes where it should look basically like this. You know, in a sense, it's just the ears. And then at this point, we're going to connect the bottom side to the bottom. So it should look something like this. And again, you know, just stick it to the bottom. The top should just form in front and the gap should be closed. So this is just the head. Now we're going to be working, which most likely is the body. So this is where we're going to be using a bunch of the yellow / Let's stick with yellow. That's the color. We're gonna need one of these small ones. These small little squares that has a little opening right there. We're gonna use this one that has 2 knobs at the side. We're gonna use one of the big rectangles that has a knob. We're gonna use the other one that has 2 knobs on both sides. So it doesn't matter which way you flip it, it's still gonna have two knobs there. And then we're gonna use the one that has 3 bricks on it, or 3 holes. From right there, we're gonna grab the one that has 3. We're gonna flip it to the other side where it's got the opening. From this point, we're gonna grab, again, the one that has both of the dots right here. We're gonna put it in here and on, where it's gonna fit 2 sides. From right there, again, we're gonna try to leave a look. So for the one that has 2 knobs, try to make sure the one that has the space in the bottom be facing up. Again, it doesn't matter because it's gonna get covered right now. And from right there, we're gonna use the big square that has the knob here. We're gonna put that there. So again, this one does not matter which way you put it. And then again, we're gonna use this other square. And it should look something like this, where you should have 2 openings, 3 pegs, something just like this. We're gonna put this down next to the lucario head, and now we're gonna be working on 12, which is asking us to get what I'm assuming is gonna be like maybe feet, but these should have 2 pink circles on one side. Make sure to get both of those. We're gonna need these 2 that have sticks coming out. I guess to insert them somewhere. Should be 2 of them. And then we're gonna need 4 of these that are basically gray claws in a sense. So grab 4 of them. They should look something like this. And for this one, what we're gonna do is we're gonna grab this one that has the pink circle here. We're gonna grab one of these arms and we're gonna push it in just like that. Push it in all the way. And again, try to make it to where it's to the side instead of forward. I'm pretty sure that may be the only way anyways. And now we're gonna get this little peg. We're gonna put it in there, push it all the way in, and we're gonna grab another claw. And we're just gonna put that into that little tubing. This is what it's gonna come across to. And we're gonna have to do this twice. So it should look something like this. And again, we're gonna grab this like that. We're gonna make sure this thing is facing us. So in a sense, have these 2 holes face to your left and have this hole face to your right. So again, we're gonna grab these gray claws, put it in. Doesn't really matter which way, just plug it in all the way. Grab this one that has this peg, push it in, and we're gonna grab the other claw once again and push it in all the way as much as you can. And again, you should have 2 of them. They should be identical from each other. Again, doesn't really explain, which way. Most likely just gonna be for the back of the legs or something. But for the moment, we're gonna put these away for now. And now we're gonna go for the gray parts again. We should grab this one that has 2 pegs. There is another one, or I guess you do have two of them. But it doesn't matter which one, you should have 2 of them. Just pick one. Make sure it has double pegs, because there is one that just has 1, but we want the one that has 2. So put that one. Use one of the gray knobs as well. There should be 3 of them. Just grab one of them. And we're gonna grab one of these that has feet, which I'm gonna assume we're gonna have to do 2 of them later down the road. But for the moment, we're gonna work with the one, I guess, that should be on like the right foot. So if you pair them like this, they should be forming a good symmetry. Because if you put it the other way, it should look kind of weird. Well, actually, They do look pretty awesome. Same thing, but I'm pretty sure they're gonna be the same thing. Let me just double check. Yeah, so honestly, it doesn't really matter which one, because just pick one, because you're gonna have to do it regardless. So for this one, grab the one with the 2 pegs, put this one, whichever one. Again, it's not gonna matter because you're gonna do it right all over again. Make sure to use the peg to insert it all the way. The knob should be facing up. Okay, so now grab whichever one. Make sure to have the circle facing away from you. So it should look something like this. So you just insert it to this ball joint here. I guess that's a way to call it, ball joint, instead of the other way that I did it. So yeah, so this is how it should look like. Again, circle should be facing back, foot should be facing forward, just like this. And now we're gonna flip it, and we're gonna basically do the same thing again. So grab the ball joint, grab this one that has 2 pegs again, and we're gonna grab the other foot. So again, didn't matter which one, and we're gonna get the double peg one, stick the foot on it, use the ball joint, and again grab the other one, make sure it's facing away, the circle's facing away from it, and there you got both legs. So again, doesn't matter which way you use them, you're gonna have to use them both anyways. And now what we're gonna do is we're gonna grab, which it's most likely the stomach. Make sure you're facing forward up, where the one that has the 3 pegs. Make sure the 2 ball joints are facing down. And then at this point, choose whichever one is going to be your left and right, which I'm assuming this is my left and this is my right. And you'll be able to tell which one it is. It's basically going to be facing down in a sense. Trust me, you'll be able to see it. And what we're going to do is just going to insert it into the ball joint head. Put them in there. Push them down. And these are our legs. Looks a little bit weird, but once we include the whole body and stomach, it should look a lot better. Yeah, but hopefully, again, I wish there was a better way that I can tell you guys, which one's left and right, but you'll see that, I guess, here's one way. The way that I'm looking at my left is it starts at the bottom and then starts going up, to the left. And then this one starts at the bottom and then starts going up to the right, if that makes sense. Again, it's your choice, however you want to. But for the moment, we're going to leave that there. And now we're going to open, which is basically the body. I like that this thing is actually in plastic. I don't know why. It is rubbery. So here's that part. It should come with this other rubbery part, which I'm going to assume might be for like the stomach at some point. But we're going to put this to the side because it's telling us that we need to put this inside, where we just need one peg sticking out, just like that. And again, we should be good, because here I'm just trying to make sure we don't get confused. Make sure you have one hole at the bottom, or I guess on the other side. I'm assuming that's where the tail is gonna go. So that's one way to make sure you know which way you're putting it, because again, this thing had one side of 3 pegs and then the other side only had 1 technically and an opening. So that's how you do it. It should look something like this, where the hole for the tail should be facing back and the 2 pink dots should be there behind you. Now we're going to put this away. Now we're going to go over and pick this yellow rectangle, the one that has no hole, no peg, no anything. We're going to grab one of these gray ones now. Same thing, but it's gray and it does have a 1 middle peg in the middle, obviously called middle. Now we're going to grab this gray piece that has 3 ball joints. Excuse me. We're going to grab two of these, 2 that have the peg in the middle. And what we're going to do is we're going to face this triangle. we're gonna face this rectangle to the bottom where it's got the opening. And we're gonna put one of these to just one side. Kind of weird. We're gonna have this facing forward again, because there's one that has like a hole in the back. Make sure to point where the middle ball joint is facing away from this part. Oh. Okay, that gave me some trouble. Again, you should just have one side open over here. Everything's being connected to one side, so just choose whichever side you want. And then we're gonna block that. And it should look something like this, where the peg should be facing up. It should just be covering. So in a sense, it's just 3 layers covering each other. And then this side is gonna be straight out open. So it should look something like this. Now at this point, we're gonna grab this yellow piece that has a peg / hole in the middle or to the side. And we're gonna grab one of the little spikes. We're just gonna put it inside, which should be something just like that. And now for this part, you're gonna put the bottom part into the stomach. And then we're gonna go over with this thing. And we're gonna insert it to the back of this one. And then the gray part shouldn't basically insert itself into the piece we just built right now, so to the back. And it should look something like this. Again, everything should fit into together. So hopefully that makes sense. And now we got the body. Next up, we're going to be building what looks like it's going to be the arms. We're going to do 2 of these, but for the moment, we're just going to use 1, right? I'm just gonna grab 1 set. So again, it says to get 2 of them, but for this purpose, we're just gonna get 1 and build 1 hand at a time. So we're gonna grab the tooth / claw. We're gonna grab one of these tubes that has 2 pegs on each side. It does have some black coloring, and then should have a hole in the middle as well. Make sure to pick up one of those. Pick up these gray things that kind of look like claws. There's nothing at the end, just a giant circle. We're gonna grab one of these hands that has a stick in the other side. And we're gonna grab one of these ball joints. So again, same thing as this one, but this one just has a stick and this one has a ball joint. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna grab this one that has 2 pegs. We're gonna make sure it's something like, again, I don't think it really matters, the coloring. Does it? Because at least from what I can see is, grab the part that does not have the black coming out of. You know, so the spike should be facing to your left. So now we're just gonna plug this in into there, and it should go all the way in. Now at this point, grab the one that has the ball joint. Get the one that has the hole, the stick pointing out. Connect those 2. And now we're going to connect the other one, the one that we just built like this. Again, the side gray where they're coming out of should be to your right, and the pointing thing should be going to your left, if that makes sense. And then at this point, we're just gonna put this in there, and this should be our arm. It should look something like this. Again, just try to make sure the gray is matching together, because if you put it the other way, it's gonna look a little bit awkward where this gray is facing the blue. But you'll know you're doing it great if the gray is practically connecting to the other gray side. So again, same thing. We're gonna grab one of these. Make sure the gray areas are facing away and not coming from one hand. We're gonna use this stick, the tooth / claws. We're gonna put it in. Now we're gonna, again, grab the one that has the ball joint. We're gonna grab the other one that's the same thing, but it just has a stick coming out. We're gonna connect them to each other. We're going to put this again, make sure the gray is facing the other way. So when you connect it to the other gray parts, and then we're going to grab the other gray part from before. Again, I didn't really show you too much, but it's the same process as the other one, which is basically the hands. Now I'm going to assume the gray parts are going to be the hands, where these spikes are going to be just coming out. So we're going to grab the body, we're going to put them in to this side, and voila, boom. Just put them down like this. Coming out pretty freaking awesome if you ask me. So we should have the entire body. I'm assuming we just need the tail at this point. We're going to connect the head. Again, ball joint goes into the head. And bingo bango. Okay, not too bad. Hey, I'm actually liking how this lucario is looking. Oh, yes, this is going to happen again. You can fix these really simple because they're just ball joints. But pretty awesome. Again, this is not a review. This is just us building in case if some of you need help. This should stand. Just the feet are a little bit weird. There you go. So now, ooh, actually, okay. So now we're going to grab this piece that came with the body, I guess that's plants. And now we're just going to put it inside the ball joint before we do anything. It's, I guess, like the fur. And then we're going to put the head in. So, looks a little bit weird, in my opinion. But, yeah, it's like, for me, there's some spacing, I guess. Maybe I was supposed to do it the other way, but it seems like this is the way. Let me actually see if I can do it the other way. But I feel like this should have been the way to do it. Again, just play around with it and see how you feel. But I think it should be this way. It's weird because when I put it in, this thing like lifts up. So it doesn't really matter which way. Just play with it and see how you like it. So now let's build the tail, last part. This is actually looking out pretty awesome. I saw like a review about it a while back, and I was like, I don't know if I really like how Lucario is looking, but it's actually not half bad. Just kind of wish it was a little bit taller, but I know that Lucario isn't the tallest Pokemon. It's like maybe 4 feet from what I understand. But for the moment, let's build the tail. So should be one of these that has a stick coming out with the hole. We're gonna grab one that has a ball joint with this stick at the end. We're gonna grab the one that I like to call the wrenches / Ys. And it's the small ones too. We're gonna do the crooked tube, the one that has 2 openings, and it's kind of, going into a U shape. We're gonna grab the other giant, or the other bigger Y hand, should have a stick, not the wrench / Y. And then finally, we're gonna get this giant claw that's blue. We're going to just leave it at that. So, for this point, grab the little peg that has a stick, connect it to the Y, the smaller Y. We're just going to plug it in, push it in. Oh. It should go all the way in as well. From there, we're going to grab the claw. We're just going to put it, doesn't matter which way, just put it in there. Now we're going to get the messed up tube over here. We're going to plug it into that. So it should look something like this, where the tube is it's practically going straight and then going up. And that's where you connect it. And then at that point, I actually don't know where the ball joint goes. And now at this point, grab the other Y / claw that has the tube, the stick, and then you're just going to connect it at that point. And now grab Lucario, grab the ball head, stick it into, the back. I'm going to be professional and keep it just like that. And then next thing you know it, we're just going to clip it into the back. There you go. I was trying to ask myself, where is the ball joint going? And then you just look at it and oh, okay. but it should be moving up and down. And just a heads up, you should have all of these pieces left over, so don't freak out again. That's the whole purpose of some of these. It's like sometimes they'll give you some extra ones, but this is all you should have. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 pieces left, so not too bad. Now we got Lucario, we got Riolu. Pretty freaking awesome, huh? All right, now that we have everything spread out, what we're gonna do is we're gonna grab 2 of these pieces that have 6 pegs. There should be 2 of these. Again, it's asking us to grab this one. Like, you'll get one that's wider than the other one. So watch. For example, you only get one of these pieces, but this is what I want to call cookies and cream. You don't want to get that one. You just want to get the one that has more gray on them. Again, you only get this piece, so you should know exactly which one, and then just copy the color off of that one. And you'll know exactly where it's at. So we're just going to connect them just like that. We're going to use these. Again, it says here to start on the 5th one. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We're just going to connect on the 5th one. At that point, just watch. One quick way to do this is just start from the end, so again, 4, that should be opening. And then at this point, just connect the other ones, just like that. That's how I like to make it easier. But it's kind of weird because we're going to have to connect both on one side. So just like that. Just put it really on top of the other one. And there's good for that one. Now we're going to need 4 of these smaller ones that have just 4 pegs. And we're going to double stack 2 of them. Double stack them just like that. And this time we're going to cover the remaining pegs that are on this block. So it should look something like this. It's a little weird how just this side is covered and not this, which is making it a little bit flimsy too. But that's what they told us to do, so let's go with it. So now we're going to get the cookies and cream one. Literally, this is only 8 peg that we have. So grab one of those and grab one of these that has 4, but it should be more like a rectangle than anything. It should be a bigger block. And what we want to do is you just want to connect to one side. So just connect the 2 of them. So it should be something like this if you really want to make it more perfect. Now, this is the one that gets a little confusing. You're like, well, how do I do this? You actually want to get the open-ended and just put it into 2 of them. So it should be opening like this. Again, just a smaller opening, put it on this side. It should look something like this. Sorry, I'm moving my instructions a lot. And now we're going to grab this bigger block rectangle. Should have 6 of them. Now we're going to grab the cookies and cream with the 8 pegs. And we're also going to get another big one, white cookies and cream color. And for this one, what we want to do is grab the bigger one, the bigger cookies and cream, the 2x8 or 4x8. You only want to connect 2 of them. So this side should be open. And then you want to grab the 2x8 and connect it to the other ones. So you should have an opening or 2 extra pegs on this side. And again, just connect it to like that. And now with this, again, with the opening from this, we're going to connect it to the top part. And everything should basically fall into place. Again, these sides are connected to over here. So I can see the design in this one. Not too bad. Hopefully I'm making sense and I'm not confusing you guys. And now we're gonna get the big tube rectangle, the gray one that has 4. We're gonna grab the other cookies and cream, the 2x8, and we're gonna grab the larger one, which is a 4x8. And we're basically going to kind of do the same once again. Make sure there's 2 openings here, so cover 2 of them. Should look like something like this. And now use the other 2x8 and cover the other one. And now with these 2 openings, we're going to insert it to the openings over here. And then the other end should connect and cover the entire platform. So you should have something that looks like a stage like this, right? Again, everything should be pretty clear. Bingo, bingo. Now, leave the stage like this. We're just gonna mainly focus on the top stage. We're not gonna worry about the bottom one. Now we're gonna grab 3 of the beige pegs. And now just be careful with this one because we are skipping some of them. So again, these are 4 pegs. We're just gonna cover 4. So start from the end or from the beginning, cover 4. We're gonna skip 1. We're gonna cover 4. Now we're gonna skip 1 as well and cover 4. So it should look something like this, where it's 4, blank, 4, blank, and then 4, and there. Now we're gonna grab 2 of the smaller 2 pegs. Again, 2 of them, and we're gonna grab another one of the 4 pegs, the beige. They're all beige. And now with this one, we're gonna go to the middle one, and we're gonna cover it. I don't think it really matters which way. I feel like it should be the same. We're gonna cover that right there. And now with the 4 peg, we're gonna cover this all. And then, once again, grab the 2 peg. And it should look something like this, yeah. There's going to be some openings. Doesn't necessarily fit the best, but that's how the design is, I guess. Now, next up, we're going to grab another 2 peg. And we're going to grab another 4 peg. And we're going to do the same in this one. So, start off with the big peg with the 4. And we're going to connect it all the way. And we're going to, use the 2 peg to finally finish it off. Look at that. We're making basically a wall, which is pretty cool. So that's step number 31. We're going to go over to 32. And this time we're going to be messing around with the 6 peg, which is a larger rectangle, and the final 2 remaining 4 pegs. So for this one, we're just going to basically cover everything. So start from the beginning, cover all 4 of them, use the 6 peg, cover basically whatever you can cover, and then use the final 4 to cover the remaining of the wall. So there you go. Next up, we're going to use these orange, what looks kind of like ladders. Doesn't matter which one, they're both the same. Grab one of those and get this giant square that has 2 openings, which could also be used as pegs. Now we're going to want to have one sticking up and have one facing outwards. So go to the end of this wall and plug it in like this. Again, have one facing up, one facing away from the stage. Or use a ladder, make sure the opening is on the other side. And we're just gonna plug it in just like that. So the rail should be facing towards the wall, not away from the wall. That makes sense? Next on up, we're gonna get these oval shaped ones that look just like this. They're like semi-domes, I guess, so a quarter of a circle or maybe half of a circle. Depends which way you look at it. We're gonna grab another one of those squares that has 2 openings / 2 pegs. And we're also gonna get the rectangle that has a peg in the middle. So for this one, doesn't matter which way you do it, again, just as long as one peg is facing forward, one of them is facing one side. And for this one, you're gonna wanna use these oval / domes. You're gonna put it next to the wall first. Should look something like this. Remember the orange ladder, and then put the dome. Then we're gonna put this part we just built, and again, peg, same thing as the other one. One should be facing forward and one away from the wall. And then we're gonna cover another one with the semi-dome as long as it goes in. So there you go. Should be something like that. And then next up, we're just gonna finish off the other thing with the orange ladder, and then the square again with 2 openings. Put in the ladder first, and then put in the square afterwards. And again, sound like a broken record machine, but make sure the one peg is up and away from the wall. So they should all be identical in that sense. Flip it over, and we're gonna start working on some lights is what it seems like. So we got 3 of these orange, these neon green orbs over here. What we need is 3 of those. We need 3 of these lamps posts in a sense. I know I say in a sense a lot, which I apologize. Lamp covers, and we need 3 gray bars in a sense. And it's the only 3 that you have, so you cannot lose these. And you're also going to need 3 of these little white pegs, which again, there should be 4. And that's how we're going to do that part for now. So how this is going to work is we're going to grab the smaller little peg. Make sure the small peg is facing forward, and we're going to include it into this lamp cover. So it should look something like this. And then we're going to put the orb just like that. Now we're going to flip it, and we're going to insert the stick towards the bottom of the lamp, and it should be something like this. So hopefully that's making sense. I'm gonna do it 2 more times, so just hopefully you understand how to do this. Again, we got to do it 3 times. So grab this little peg, stick the lamp cover underneath it. We're gonna use the orb, put it in. We're gonna grab the metal framing. Bingo, bingo. So peg, cover, orb, and should only, this metal frame should only be one way that it'll fit. So there you go. So now this is where we're gonna plug the only hole available into the wall, to the squares, if you call it that. Plug it in. Wow. I'm actually liking this design a lot. Now make sure they're straight, make sure they're not wobbly and wonky like mine. So not too bad, not too bad. I'm actually really enjoying these. Okay, so we're gonna get this base next up. We're gonna grab this flower vase, is what I want to call it. You can put them together if you want, or you can wait. And now we're gonna go at the edge of the high stage, so not the bottom, but the top right here at the little right hand corner. And it should look something like this. Next up, we're gonna start building the plants, is what it seems like. So we're gonna grab this giant dark green leaf. We're gonna use two of the little claws with the ball joints. We're gonna grab one of these claws that has a stick going out. What we're gonna do is we're gonna grab the ball joint hand, two of them, connect them together just like that. And from right there, we're going to grab this hand with the peg and connect it. I mean, it technically tells us to connect these two first, but same thing. Now make sure you do it all the way to the bottom. It should be something like this. I don't know if we're gonna have to use more of these, but for the moment, this is what I got. Like that. Now going on to 39, we're gonna grab a little wrench /Y. We're gonna grab another piece of the leaf and make sure the small peg is facing up and not down. I'm pretty sure that's the only way it fits anyways. Yeah, so Just make sure to push it as much as you can. The peg should be sticking out at this point. And we're going to connect it. Now, the Y part, we're going to connect it into our other part we just did. Gotta be more precise. Should look something like this, where the leaf is facing away, and just plug it into that. Again, you plug it into just a stick that's opened right there. Should be something like that. Now, once again, we're going to do the same process, which I don't know why it just didn't tell us to do too. Grab the Y/wrench, grab the last final green leaf. Same thing, just push it towards the bottom until that's all you can. And with this one, we're going to use this opening, use the claw option, and have it look like this. So the bottom one is facing to the left, the middle one is facing to the right, and the last one is facing away from the rest of them, if that makes sense. So this should be it for that part. Now we're gonna grab a little green ball joint. We're gonna stick this into the vase. Put it in there. Go all the way. And now we're gonna grab our plant. Use the bottom. Stick it to the ball joint. Again, you can move this one if you really want to. You don't have to have it like that. Maybe if you want to have it the other way. It's up to you. Don't always follow exactly what they tell you to do, you know? You could bend it, you know, which is what it's kind of telling us right here. It's like, hey, you can bend it. You know, something like that, I guess. Make it look like there's wind and stuff. Ladies and gentlemen, that's basically it. This one just connect them wherever you want. I'm assuming it's like just 2 spacings. I don't like the tail. The tail is actually getting in the way, but cool parts so you can move the tail wherever you want. So it's just something like this. Again, this is not the review, so I'll probably have them way better, but or I can just connect it, just something like this, ladies and gentlemen. So it should be it. You can pose them however you want, you know, there's awesome poses here, but this is just a review, so excuse me, building set. So if you want to check out the actual review, make sure to go check out my channel and we'll go more into detail with these. But for the moment, that's it. Thank you guys for joining us. And if you guys enjoyed the video and you found this video helpful, I would appreciate if you guys hit the like button, subscribe, and I'll catch you guys later. Peace. And just a reminder, you should have basically 5 parts available. There should be these 3 green, 1 beige, and 1 white button, as I want to call them.